Welcome back to the On the Pace podcast. I'm just going to be real honest. I've been sick for who knows how long. If you hear it in my voice, that is why. I've been sick. My laptop decided it no longer wanted to exist as a laptop and moved on into HP heaven. So I also had to go get a new one. So it's been a rough 10 days, but during those rough 10 days, I got to watch some racing. And I also got to throw my Indycar predictions out the window because I was too sick. And during that time, my laptop decided to die while recording and then never turn on again my predictions for IndyCar. So that was a lot. But we're back. I'm trying to be available and post consistently. I apologize for getting sick. Before we tackle what St. Petersburg was, let me just say of my predictions, shocker, I thought Alex Palou would win the entire series. And what happened on Sunday? Oh, it's gonna be another one, boys. Buckle up. It's gonna be another one. So, with all this to be said, let's get into it. St. Petersburg as a whole. Let's talk about the circuit a little bit. Let's talk about the start of IndyCar. This race told us anything. It told us that Alex Bliss. A beast. He's him. He's always been him, and he will continue to be him. But, oh, I kind of want to start with just kind of race overview in general. Talk about some Ganassi and Penske, talk about some of the rookies, and just how I feel after the race. But in general, starting with the circuit, St. Pete, I really like the circuit. It's a fun circuit. I think it's a great circuit to kick off the entire season with. It's a low grip circuit, high tire fall off circuit, brutal in the braking zones, pole position. Normal lap range is about a minute, which I believe McLaughlin hit. Normal lapping time in general during the race, about 101 to 103 kind of area. Pit delta is about 27 seconds. And this is not a fuel save parade. It's go all out for 100 laps. I think the main thing that stood out during the race is alternative tire degradation was worse than expected for a lot of these teams. The deg was bad. The undercut was also incredibly powerful as an overtaking method. That's pretty much how we got most of our overtakes in general. And clean air. Because if you put Alex Palou out in clean air, he's going to take it. He's going to take it. And in general, I think, especially when we're talking about the deg and among other things, it kind of gives the impression about how this is going to work this year. In general, overreaction time, this race was probably a example of things to come, specifically with Palou and with Ganassi, with Penske, with McLaren. Oh gosh, the Ward fangirls ain't going to be happy about this one. So, it's a race that I really like. I will say though, just instant reaction, it was a bit boring. Honestly, you had the big crash at the beginning. My favorite part of the entire race was Scott Dixon's wheel popping off. I don't know. It was just so funny to me. And the nut goes off and then the wheel goes off and he's just sitting. It's like bouncing across the barriers and you could see he kind of saw it. It's just like, oh no. That was one of the funniest parts to me. I thought it was great. But as a whole, undercut overtaking, Pillow got clean air and just went for it. And so yeah, it was a bit of a boring race in my honest opinion. I I was also sick and on meds watching the entire thing. There was a part of me that was like, I'm waiting for Coda to start. I want to see SVG absolutely rip NASCAR on straight track, and shocker, it didn't happen. We'll talk about that towards the end of the episode. Um, but yeah, uh, Pillow's kind of the main stage here. I'd say it's the biggest storyline. I one of I think there's two big storylines here, but I'd say Pillow's obviously one of the two. Um, and he kind of won it in Pillow style. He did not lead every lap. I think his let's see, his I mean so he led 59 laps. He won by what is this, 13 seconds, about 13 seconds. Yeah. It wasn't just a clean air breakaway. We're going 40-second win. And so he led about 60% of the laps, but obviously he didn't start on pole. Um, he played the undercut well, but more importantly, um, this is a quote from him, which was, "We didn't have the fastest car every stint, but we had the smartest race." I think that's where it really comes down to. Obviously, if you lead 60 laps, you had a fast car. But Ganassi had a good race. I mean, honestly, Ganassi's putting everything into um, Alex. I mean, why wouldn't you? Um, and obviously, I'm laughing about Scott Dixon's wheel falling off, but up until then, he was running well. Dixon was running well. But when that kind of happens, you're able to put all your eggs into one basket, and that basket was already filled with Chip Ganassi's eggs. Take that how you want it. But in general, you can then dump the rest in there too. And I think Ganassi had a smart race with where to call Pillow's pit stops, where to do everything. And obviously, if you put the man in clean air, he's going to go. I find this very interesting too. The average stint drop off was 0.8 seconds over 12 laps on alternates. Pillow's drop off was 0.5 on those alternates. So again, the man is him. The man is him. Like legitimately. Because there's tire management, there's patience, and there's calculated aggression. And this is my second recording of this podcast because the first one I realized my mic was not plugged in, and the reason I heard myself talking was because I talk loud over the headphones. But the point that I made earlier to myself in my laptop screen was that when you have someone like Alex, it's incredibly hard to stop him. But more importantly, he's not the most aggressive driver on the track. There's an aspect where he has to be to win every race, but there's calculated aggression. And that's what the best racers get correct. We can talk a lot about what different series have. A situation like Rally Car where you're running basically against yourself. Of course, you're timed against other people, but you're running against yourself. F1, objectively these days in F1, there's not a lot of overtaking, right? That first lap is everything. And then you're pacing yourself with the car and tire. But in NASCAR, it's only about strategic overtaking. It's only about strategy. But I think why Alex does so well in Indy is because he's got that perfect balance of aggression but patience. I know those are two contradicting statements, but in general, when you have a person who's willing to be aggressive but willing to be patient, they're going to win every race. And I mean, that's what we're looking at this point with Alex Palou. There's just no way. I mean, he's going for a fifth. That's the only way to discuss this conversation. Which I think leads to another one is Ganassi. Like I said, they dumped all the eggs in the basket for sure. But if Ganassi's figured out degradation better than Penske early, the fight's over. You're not going to see anything. The title fight's over. I mean, I'm putting it on Ganassi again to win 110%. Again, I didn't record my prediction. I don't even know who's going to fight Alex. I don't think McLaren. Maybe McLaren, but it's Penske. And which gets to Penske. Qualifying was strong. And that's why I have to say, Newgarden looked all right. McLaughlin looked good. McLaughlin looked really good. But he didn't convert a pole win. Street circuits reward discipline. And they burned their tires pushing early. I think when you kind of look at something like Penske, they might be the fastest team for one lap. They might win every qualifier. Being the fastest team for one lap gets you a cool new course record, lap record. It doesn't make you the smartest team over 100, like we saw. And that's a problem. You know, they'll win races. Newgarden will win a race. McLaughlin looked really good. He'll win a race. But over the series, who knows? Who knows? I think they have a lot of speed. I almost feel like the car's made for the oval, which we'll see next week. At the end of the day, I think they're the second best team. And maybe some of that as a team. Which actually, we'll get into this. Ganassi might be the best team solely because they have the best person. And we've seen it in Formula One. We've seen it with Max, 110%, with Max and Red Bull. Red Bull was a disaster, objectively. Checo, I always liked Checo for the record when talking about Formula One. I always liked Checo. I thought he got too much hate. But when you have someone that dominant, your team looks just as bad, if good, if not better, than that dominant person. Which leads to this. When Dixon lost his wheel and I was laughing at the TV and coughing in between because of my throat, I knew it was over. It's like their best strategies for Alex, who already was for Alex, but now they don't even have to worry about Dixon. They do look like the smartest team still. Their pit stops were sub 6.5 seconds. Strategy window for Alex was perfect. Fuel numbers were aggressive, but they were safe. I mean, it was good. I mean, they were good. And that's all they have to be when you have the best driver in the series. So let's talk about the other aspect of this. Everyone's favorite, and I think the second biggest storyline, was Mick Schumacher. The rookies in general. Now, Mick Schumacher didn't make it 5 turns before he crashed. He was a victim of the Rob effect. Now, unfortunately for me, Stingray Rob is the hardest name to ever be put down on a social security number in the United States of America. Unfortunately for Stingray Rob, he sucks. And Mick Schumacher found that out very early. He should be used to it, considering the fact that his teammate was Mazepin in Formula One. I feel really bad for Mick. I would really like him to complete his first race. I have high hopes for him. I think short stints in F1 tend to translate pretty well to IndyCar. Ericsson being an example. Obviously, I like Ericsson. I'll say I'm an Ericsson fan. Um, Kind of my driver a little bit, but I wish we got to see Mick race, and we didn't because he fell victim to what money in Idaho buys you, and that's an IndyCar seat apparently. Rasmussen uh, did well. Um, he did well. I mean, Noah Siegel did well. Dennis Hogger, Dale Coyne Racing. That's the real one here. Dennis Hogger started third, finished 10th. Objectively, that might be a fall off, but for his first IndyCar race, man did great. He did really good. I'm really excited to see him. I think the Dale Coyne, they almost fall into a little bit of the Penske situation. They might have qualifying figured out completely. I mean, let me just check the stats here. Grosjean started sixth. Hogger started third. And yeah, not going crazy. Those are the, so yeah, Roman Grosjean again. He's back. He's better than ever, and he walks through fire. But Dennis Hogger's the real one that I see, and I'm very impressed by. He ran a very good race. And again, I think it's one of those things where it's just like, let's see how he does on oval. Let's see how he does on oval. But for the most part, I'm impressed with him. I have a lot of hope for him in general. A little bit of the tire breakdown. The primary tires slower by 0.7. Alternate was 1.2 seconds quicker early, fell off hard after 8 to 10 laps. The undercut gain was 1.5 seconds if timed right. I mean, whoever pitted first during green was the ones who gained track position. We saw that during the race. Again, it was kind of an undercut race. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I had a bunch of things to say. Maybe I'm still sick and hopped up on cold meds. Not to mention my actual job, but it's just kind of a boring race. I mean, I wish it was more exciting to kick off the season. Monte Carlo was great for rally. Daytona was great for NASCAR. I'm hoping Australia is not a freaking dud this weekend. Lord only knows if it will be. But round one doesn't crown champion. That's a tone. Low wins. He's dictating tempo. Penske loses from pole. They're doing the chase mentality thing they always do. Andretti. I didn't mention Andretti yet. In general, kind of worrying. Kirkwood was chasing Palou at one point, dropped down to fourth and final. Let's see. I mean, just some hot takes because I missed my general prediction. I think title fight is non-existent. I think it's Alex Palou and Alex Palou only. I do think a rookie will finish on podium before the 500. I know is kind of a hot one. I don't know which rookie. I really don't. I think Tire Dag will define kind of the 2026 season. And if clean air matters, which I think it does for Alex, I'm not sure if it does for everyone, but if it does, qualifying is going to matter a lot more, which you'll see with the teams that I think have qualifying down, but not the race pace, which hopefully is supposed to make it an interesting race weekend. If you watch racing, you know that's not always the case. So yeah, that's kind of just, I don't It's one of those things that at the end of the day, I look at it and I go, huh, that sure was a race that I watched, all right. Um, I did 20 minutes. I really don't have that much to say. It wasn't that. It was fun. Which let's go to Cota real quick. NASCAR round 3 happened at Cota, and boy, did I think SVG was going to tear everyone to shreds, but no. Just a quick congrats to Tyler Reddick. Won the first 3 races of the season. If I'm correct, this never happened. I know Coda's a good track for him, but really did well. Really did well, and held off, obviously, who's the best race or road course driver in NASCAR in SVG, a man I will glaze consistently. So, congrats to Tyler Reddick. Congrats to 2311. Jordan's at every race. I joked with my friend. I said, how long is it going to take until I see people complain about Jordan being at every race? Because NASCAR fans can't have anything happy in their entire life. It was Atlanta. I started seeing the comments post up. Why is this man everywhere? Get him off my TV screen. It's like, okay, would you rather watch a Progressive commercial? Because that's what this series has come to. Anyway, Cota was a good race. Cota was a fun race. Also, but congrats to Reddick. He's lights out right now. And yeah, that's kind of my analysis. I'm going to be back on Thursday talking about my prediction for Australia. Hope that goes well. I will be back I've got to cover 2 different races this weekend. So, Phoenix and Australia, but I have to stay up till like 2 to 3 a.m. for Australia because of where I live. So, it'll be easier because that's more of a Saturday night race for me. Pray that I feel better. Thank you for listening and good night.